is that I can do go work and go work use, which you can read about. But these things resolve a problem I've been having for a long time. And this causes all the resolutions for modules to be localized so you can work on multiple packages at the same time. I can't tell you what a big deal that 0.8 is going to be the official release of the 1.18 Go version for some time, which means that you won't be able to use this unless you have 1.18. I've put all that updated information in the README. The README's been sufficiently updated. So pretend we had a command called foo.go that we want to be able to make modularly able to be imported into some other command. We can open this and you can see it's very basic. It just uses the same syntax, and if you've got Go PLS in your Vim, you should be fine. It should be nice and pretty. So there you go. Need it because we're using composition for our definitions of our structs in order to keep things nice and clean and pretty when they print out. This here down here is a bar command, and you can see that that bar command got composed into this one, and that this one also has the help command from the central help composed into it if you want to. You don't have to have everything. So you can say, I just want one. I just want name, all right? So we'll call this name, and we'll call it own. And we don't even have to have a method. Now, we probably should have a method, but we don't need a summary and all that other stuff. We can keep it out. And it will just use the empty values by default, which is a really amazing thing about it. They're about having strings that don't do anything. So I can put like quotes in here and stuff. I'm not, but I could. So whenever I use a string and I really want to know it's going to be a literal, it's going to be a string literal, I always use backticks. It also lets you use multi-line stuff. You can't do that with double quotes and stuff like that. So it's just a good way to do it. I believe that's the definition. So a higher order function is a function that accepts functions as arguments, and a first class function is a function that can be passed to another function as an argument. And so if a language has first class functions, which most do, that's what we're talking about. That command is not that big of a deal. Did I say own that go? What did I name it? Did I name it own? Okay. I got it wrong then, I think. So that's how that works. This should be own actually. All right. You can write them nice and pretty and cleanly in your code and have it be readable, but have it translate into a nice pretty string later on by using a markdown type that I wrote a parser for that. And that's something I need to add back actually. So right to be included, but this is how you make a command that uses all those commands. Right, so here's foo, and this is actually included in the same package if you want to use it as a standalone command, like a thing you can execute on a command line, and you just make a new command box and set the primary function command to that thing, and then run it. Use it the way somebody else might want to use it, and then I'm making the library that enables that to happen and running it actually as a user would to see how it works. And I think that kind of testing is underrated a lot, because it's usability testing. That's like the true testing, and I think more of that needs to be done. Suggest that if you're thinking about getting an M1, you reconsider and basically say no. And if you are going to get an M1, make sure you have the money to buy VMware Fusion if you do, because it's the only way you're going to get true Linux on your machine, period. Chemo and stuff is supposed to work on it, but it's not really mainstream, even though you can get it to work. All of the brew options work. I have done that. I've got a whole installer system in my dot files under install/Mac for how to get a Mac running. That might work with brew. I don't know how much works with install Mac. You can go see the file there. You can go look at install with brew. And if you got to put brew on by yourself, look up how to do that's pretty easy. But then this will get you almost all the stuff. Now the thing is though, is it puts them in the wrong places. So you got to make sure your path is updated. When it comes to completion, you can do one of two things. You can define your own completion method that has intimate knowledge of the state and context that it's running, or you can use one of the simpler completion methods that just knows what's on the comp line, and that's all. And both of them are options. You just have to pick, because there was just too much stuff to do that wasn't related to technology. There was just too much paperwork and meetings and stuff like that. And I'd rather have my hands on the tech, and cloud native infrastructure engineering has a lot more hands-on with the technology. You can do the hacking in my spare time in a string. And I feel like we should pass in an array, because then we can get rid of all the white space, right? And every shell that I know of allows, variable white space. So we should already be chopping out the white space. Just say, okay, this box is a copy of this other box, except for we overrode all of its documentation, and then you could just switch over to that one, and you could actually do completion on the fly that detects the language difference. And that's the kind of shit that I wanted to do from the very beginning. So I want to keep that. But it's worth learning, just like any language. Clojure, Lisp, are ugly languages too, but they're worth learning. That is if you have a job and free time. If you don't have a job and free time, then learn a fucking language is going to get you a job. That ain't Rust. I don't mean that to be mean. I thought so. I thought so. I thought that might happen. I fucking hate import cycles. You guys know what an import cycle is? It's when you have a package that imports the other package, and that package that imports that package. You can't do that for the boost. The boost has changed somewhat, so if you're getting ready for the boost, yes, WSL is nice to install iTerm if you're on Mac, but more importantly, you need to get VirtualBox installed, and you should install Ubuntu server on it if you want to get ready. Fantastic. That's fantastic. Why are we not playing with this right now? All right, I have to clip this. I have to clip this. This is great for Gopherize Me, so we can like rename. We can make a thing out of a thing, which is really well manicured and pretty command trees, command node trees. And this came about because we were discovering that the whole thing is just a node tree. And so that's the new thing. And we registered bonzai.dev project. Well, the first thing you do is go mod init. You should always do this. Go mod init. And to do that, you have to give it what you want, the name you're going to have. Bonzai. Yes, we misspelled it on purpose. Okay. And there we go. So that's the first step to getting a new Go project going. I'm going to make it into a project. We can also, now that we have a file there, we can git add the go.mod file. And then we can git commit that file, add go.mod. Okay. Local repository to git, yes. Yes. Repository happy little trees of commands. That seems to be a thing with me lately. So, yep. So GitHub repo view -web. We'll open up the web browser and show you what you got. Pretty cool, huh? The GH tool is like, that's how much time we have to the next break. The thing that's great about this is our promo sessions actually correspond with our advertising. So you can know that I'm going to take a break. You can also know when you're going to be able to ask a question. So that's what's really cool. Now that we have 45-minute breaks, you can know that after that time, there's going to be some ads, but in between there's going to be a time to ask questions. It was a Git repo. So, moral of the story, if you change the name of the Git repo, just change the config entry is not enough. You actually have to pull down the freshest repo with the new name and go for it that way. That was the problem. Yep. Hey, it's been really fun. We did get a lot done, I think. The main thing we did is we moved from cmdbox to, what are we calling it? Bonzai now, and you can watch more on that later. I'll be working tomorrow and co-working. Bye.